Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another film review. Like I said to you a few weeks ago, I like to look at and review the odd sort of quirky sort of horror film. And tonight I've got an absolute blinder for you. This is The Town That Dreaded Sundown. This is the Eureka release of it. Comes with a Blu-ray, DVD, reversible cover and a booklet. So that's pretty cool. Give you a little bit about the movie. Let's have a look. This is the original, not the remake. Okay, this is an American film, 1976, certification 15, runs for 90 minutes, directed by Charles Pierce, starring Ben Johnson, Andrew Preen. Screenplays by Earl Smith. Cinematography is by Jim Robertson, music by Jamie Nava. Now, this is a quirky little film. It's supposedly based on a true story about a serial killer in 1946. The film sort of is kind of semi-narrated as it goes through it, sort of like trying to make it like a really old sort of film, and it's sort of semi-narrated through it, telling you about the town trying to rebuild itself and all this sort of thing. And it shows you clips of people getting married and the town sort of thing, and this little town of I can't remember the name of the town, to be honest. I think it's Arkansas, something like that. Anyway, it shows you this town sort of rebuilding itself, and we kind of get through about 10-15 minutes of these clips of people getting married, of people going to work, and families trying to progress, and the army sort of thing after the war. And then we join our first sort of couple at Lover's Lane in their car, and then it doesn't take long, we straight away see our killer, who's sort of dressed like Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th Part 2. And he attacks these two in the car. He drags the guy out of the car through the window. I think that's been done in urban legends and other sort of horror films. And he sort of starts battering this guy. And then he goes back and starts battering this girl, but they both survive. And then we see our police turn up the next day in the investigation, because we see the young girl by the side of the road, sort of like struggling to get some help, and a car drives by, and eventually the police turn up, and they turn up with the army ambulance, and they go finding the guy as well. And then the police is on the radio to talk about what's happened to the other police officers. And this is one of our main policemen called Ramsey. Anyway, then we're back at the station, and we meet other police officers, and we meet one who works on the sort of reception, and he's quite funny throughout the film. He's making bizarre phone calls. He's got a little bit of black humour going on in the background of this film. And then we see, again, another couple down at Lover's Lane, but this time they both get killed. Our police officer has gone down there to investigate the scenes for the attacks, and he hears his gunshots. And then he goes out and investigates, and he finds the body of the man that's in the car, and a bit further along, the woman that's been attacked and killed by the tree. So he's actually killed a couple of people. So then the investigation takes off, and we get lots of narration about, they were telling the high school teens not to go to Lover's Lane at night and all this sort of thing. And then the police sort of arrange a stakeout. And this is where the humour bit comes in. They get some of the police officers to dress up as women and sort of like go in the car with the other police officers, like set up. So they try and do this sort of setup. But meanwhile in town, there's the town proms going on. And when that ends, of course, he's targeted the prom, not Lover's Lane. And then he kills a couple more people from there. And then Later on in the film, he kills a couple more people in their house by shooting them. And these deaths sort of seem to be building up. And that while this is happening, the police are buffooning around, trying to solve who it is. And they start accusing people, and they find out it's not him. And then there's like a showdown where you see them chasing the killer through the streets and past a train, a railway track, and all this sort of thing. And apparently he gets away, and apparently the true story is that they've never found who it was, and they believe he's still around, and they call him the Phantom, and it's a funny little film. It's very quirky, like I said. It's got elements of horror. It's got elements of a serial killer film. It's got some comedy moments, and then it's got this narration going on in the background like they used to do in films like War of the Worlds and things like this. So you've got this narration going around, and it's great. It's a great little film. It's really cool. The acting is pretty stupid. The cops are dumb, and you know they just haven't got a clue. They drag in the police officer from another state who's well known for solving crimes, and he doesn't solve it. So this killer gets them on the rounds, you know, and it's really cool. And you can see how it sort of influenced films like My Bloody Valentine, because of like it's like a small community, things like that. And these sort of influences you can see amongst the film. Obviously, Friday the 13th Part 2, with the killer wearing that bag over the head, and so it's all these sort of films that and also Halloween. You know, some of the kills is very Michael Myers. It's very Michael Myers in a lot of places. And it's also like that Cherry Falls and all these sort of other horror films that came about. And it's wonderful, and it's a really good fun watch. It is a bit quirky, like I said, it's a bit out there. But that makes it even more and more enjoyable. The pluses of this edition, it looks great. It looks really, really cool. Really enjoyed it. And so the acting is silly but good at the same time. The kills are okay. They're mediocre kills, simply because they're mostly done by gunshot. But you do see some gunshots when like the woman gets shot on the phone and the blood hits the back of the wall. There is some quite there, and others you don't see. They're off screen. But it's okay. You got to remember, this is a 1976 film, so a lot of films only dared to go a certain place, and this one did try, and it succeeded. It's quite creepy as well. You know, it's quite a creepy sort of film, but it's also really, really cool. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to score this a great watch and score it an 8 out of 10. It's definitely no higher than that. I mean, like I said, the kills are off screen, so it loses like a point for that. And because of its ultra quirkiness and the sense of like the story sort of progresses by this narration, it loses something as well. But it doesn't take it away from being a great film. I loved watching it, and I'm really proud to have this in my collection. Now, I believe 2014 there was a remake. I've not seen it, and I'm not into remakes, so I won't be chasing that down. I'm really happy with the edition that I got. Let's have a little look at see if there's any special features on the disc for you. Let's have a look here if I can read it. Brand new 1080p high definition transfer, progressive DVD encoded, optional English subtitles for the deaf, okay, trailers for both the original film and the remake, interviews with stars Andrew Prine and Dawn Wellis, and director of photography James Robertson, feature-length audio commentary with historian Justine Brennan and Jim Presley, a 20-page limited edition collector's booklet featuring new writings by critic Mike Sutton. So it's very limited on the special features. For a double disc as well, you think, come on, load it up. Let's have some special features on there. If this was supposed to be a true story, let's have a documentary about that. I would have loved to have seen a documentary on the making of the film, and that, but still, it's a great film. Really enjoyed it. The Town That Dreaded Sundown. 8 out of 10. Any of you guys seen it? If you have, let me know down below what you think of it. It is a bit of an obscure sort of title, but it's a wonderful sort of title. I know it's got a really big cult following, and I can see why, just because of like the acting and the sort of comedy elements in it, especially when the guy's dressed as a woman and he's in the car with the other police officer, and the other one starts putting his arm around him and all this, and he's getting freaked out. It's quite funny, and it brings. I think they tried, because I think the film's quite bleak in this sort of sense. Although you don't see too much, it's bleak, but this sort of humour really brings it to. And I think they've done it deliberately as well to give it that sort of cult status. It just seems that way. Really cool. Anyway, guys, till my next video, please check out some other horror channels. Check out Horror Hands, Horror Geek, Manview Film, RS Design, Pizzawell, I Am Ice Lord, Cat Watches Horror Movies, Grumpy Andrew's Haunted House. Just getting a discount. And a massive shout out to my lad. Hope you're doing well, mate. I should see him next week. Anyway, so there's your Blu-ray and there's your DVD. Cool. Really enjoyed it. Thanks, guys.